job wants me back at work when someone in my household currently has COVID. A member of my household tested positive for COVID last Monday. I got tested and as well and got my negative result Wednesday. My job had me out until I got my results. After that they said I could come back the next day. I told them I could contract it any day living in the same household and I shouldn't come back till everyone gets negative tests. HR said they have not been following CDC guidelines since the quarantine started in April. HR said, "I don't know how many people you have told, but it might be best to keep it to yourself." My supervisor multiple times has said, "Don't go telling people." I told them I have vacation time I can use up until it's over. Now I'm back at work today. Everyone feels uncomfortable. Supervisor and HR are changing their stories and saying they are following guidelines, even though me being there breaks them. And supervisor was telling people my grandma was negative and that I didn't even receive my results. Yet, the not receiving my results was what someone heard, so I can't be for sure on that. I just feel like this is a little fishy. Update. Job sent me home for the rest of the week with pay and doesn't want me back until we all test negative. I informed everyone at work on the situation and they caused a lot of disruption, forcing the company to make the decision to send me home. I think they knew they messed up. Update number 2. Didn't expect to get this many upvotes and comments. Thank you all for the help. A few more specifics. They paid me for 2.5 days last week while I was waiting for my results. They said I wasn't covered under Act or amendment put in place since April after I got my results. I asked to at least get the rest of the week off with vacation time. Supervisor approved but wanted me back today. So I used 16 hours of my vacation time last week. All this week will be paid by the company. They said because it was a disturbance in the workplace for others, not for safety reasons. What state are you in? Some states have passed requirements via their departments of labor and health that would address this situation. CDC actually says that your 14-day quarantine period begins when the household contact gets better. See scenario 4. And, as people are pointing out, gets better implies a minimum of 10 days from onset of symptoms, with at least 72 hours without fever and improving respiratory symptoms. You might want to take a look at the CDC website and/or your state's health department website for current recommendations regarding isolation and quarantining. Collect all information you have proving you went to HR regarding medical status. Also all information regarding them contacting you in return. This is proof that you engaged in a protected EO activity. It may not matter, but there are things that could happen which make this information critically important. I work at a health department and you should receive at least 80 hours of pay under the Family Lease First Cares Act, FFCRA, for EPSLA or extended FMLA leave. You should be at home quarantining and isolating. In your own room and bathroom, practice social distancing. Wear a mask and sanitize frequently touched surfaces, such as fridge handles, door handles and countertops. How your company responds is highly dependent on locale and company, but you should be compensated. If your company is 500 employees, there are some exceptions. Why HR and boss are backpedaling. 1. They question doctor's orders. If someone tested positive and doctor advised all with close contact to quarantine. This is an international standard in the accredited medical community right now. And they demanded you return. They questioned the license of that doctor. Big no-no. 2. They violated your HIPAA rights telling you not to talk about it. A patient employee has every right to discuss ongoing medical issues with coworkers. If your kid had the chickenpox, they wouldn't have said anything to you about discussing it with the other staff. Grandma has dementia. Uncle has cancer. etc. are well within your right to discuss, as long as you are not soliciting funds. 3. They discussed your grandmother's HIPAA info with others. Even if it was a lie. Doesn't matter if you did. They can refer the person asking to you. Big legal issue if recorded or with proof. 4. FMLA. Look it up. You have the right to leave for this at any point in time. You may not always have qualifying days to get paid for benefit programs, but this is always your right. I was HR in a major corporation store for 3 years. Worked in the medical industry at a care facility for 2. Families and friends are nosy in both. You have to know the rules. I see your update, but there may be more you can do. Call your state health department. If you are in household exposure, many states require you to stay at home from work during the household positives isolation period plus 14 days after their isolation period ends. Even if you test negative. This is because you may test negative, become exposed again, and test positive after, or the test was done too early on in the infectious period and the risk of false negatives. TLDR, anyone in ongoing exposure to somebody with COVID-19 should take extra precaution and stay home for an extended period of time. The health department may be able to provide you with documentation, work exclusion if this or offer to speak with your employer if you wish. In some states you can tip off the health department and remain anonymous, asked about your anonymity. Source: epidemiologist and case investigator, contact tracer. I deal with shady employers who do not respect the COVID-19 guidelines daily, as I work for a health department. Best of luck. FYI, till end of year FFCRA will give you time off with pay if you are medically quarantined. Your doctor says you must be in quarantine, or you're quarantined due to government order. Department of Health, Emergency Proclamations, https://agency/whd/pandemic/ffcra-employer-paid-leave. So report household illness to your doctors and your Department of Health, then take the time you are owed. Then call Senate and Congress and demand they renew the Families First Coronavirus Relief Act. Can you make a report on the employer's COVID protocol with your local health department? I know Florida is a wild card right now, but they have an online claim form where I live in CA and can investigate fine workplaces.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Eracast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.